You see that massive skyscraper right here? That's One World Trade Center, and it's been at the heart of one of the most controversial reconstruction projects ever. And I'm not just talking about a little bit of a disagreement, I mean years of heated debates, some pretty emotional moments, and at times, excruciating decisions. It all started after that fateful day in September 2001 when the World Trade Center's Twin Towers were destroyed. The decision to rebuild this site was anything but straightforward. First, there were debates about whether to use the original blueprints and recreate the Twin Towers exactly as they were. But that idea sparked fierce discussions. Many believed it was better to have nothing than to recreate the past. Fast forward a bit, and you'll see the site is still evolving. It's nowhere near complete. Sure, One World Trade Center is up and running now, standing tall like a beacon of hope. But the story doesn't end there. A key piece of the puzzle remains missing. Two World Trade Center was supposed to be finished long ago, but it's still searching for tenants and hasn't settled on a final design. But what I'm here to talk about today is something even more controversial than its predecessors. That's the topic of 5 World Trade Center. Unlike the other commercial skyscrapers on this site, this one's not just about business. It's meant to be part residential. It's a game changer, and where there's a game changer, there's controversy. Think about it, New York City, the city that never sleeps, the city of dreams and soaring ambitions, is in the middle of a housing crisis. Rents are skyrocketing, and folks are desperate for new housing. The demand's through the roof. The need is crystal clear. But this, my friends, is no ordinary building. All eyes are on it because it's a part of the World Trade Center, and that's no small matter. You might wonder, why is this building different? Well, here's the deal, 5 World Trade Center is about to be a residential skyscraper. It's going to soar to about 900 feet, and it's packing around 1,200 housing units. That's quite a big deal, and it comes with a whole new set of terms and public debates compared to your usual office space. Just to put things in perspective, New York City is now the center of government, international trade, and finance. But before the original World Trade Center came into the picture back in the 70s, it was a different story. This very location was called Radio Row, a buzzing hub with hundreds of radio and television storefronts. But when the plan for the Twin Towers was set in stone, Radio Row was flattened. Hundreds of business owners and around 100 residents were against it, but ultimately, their protests didn't win the day. Flash forward to today, and here stands One World Trade Center, along with 3 other magnificent skyscrapers, surrounded by the solemn but beautiful 9/11 Memorial. But there are parts of the site that remain empty, and one of those parts is 130 Liberty Street. That's where the previous Deutsche Bank building used to be. It wasn't destroyed in the 9/11 attacks but was heavily contaminated. After years of deterioration, the city decided to demolish it. Now, it's an empty construction site, patiently waiting for 5 World Trade Center. Now, 5 World Trade Center hasn't been without its fair share of controversy. The ideas for its replacement have gone through countless revisions and public scrutiny. You see, people had different visions for this spot. And each time a plan was presented, there was something that just didn't sit right with someone. Daniel Libeskind, the architect behind the original master plan for the World Trade Center site, had a vision for a residential or mixed-use tower. Back in 2007, New York City officials even outlined a plan for a 42-story office tower, with J.P. Morgan as the anchor tenant. But here's the twist, none of these ideas materialized. The lot remained vacant, and discussions lingered on. But, Governor Cuomo decided to throw another curveball in 2019. He asked for new designs that could be either residential or commercial, and there it was, a chance for a mixed-use building. And after a couple of years, Silverstein Properties and Brookfield Place unveiled a design for a 274-meter-tall tower. It was a grand vision, filled with apartments, office space, and retail stores. Architected by Kohn Pedersen Fox, the building was a visual treat. It was adorned with floor-to-ceiling glass, featuring steel-framed windows and rounded corners. It was quite the contrast when put beside its neighboring glass giants like One World Trade Center. And there was more to it. The skyscraper was filled with greenery, including various terraces and an ample garden space around the middle, a perfect setting for a residential amenity. But here's the kicker, it wasn't the design that had people debating. The major point of contention was, who gets to live there? So, let's dive into the controversy, shall we? In 2021, 25% of the units were designated as affordable housing. Now, you'd think affordable housing means it's within reach for regular folks, right? Well, not exactly. New York City's affordable housing policies are a bit, let's say, complex. In reality, Manhattan rents are exorbitant, and affordable housing isn't what you'd expect. The affordable units in this building are not exactly pocket change. They're reserved for people making between 40% and 120% of the area median income. And just so you know, that median income isn't something most of us can relate to. For a family of 3, we're talking an income range of $50,000 on the low end to $152,000 on the high end. For these folks, an affordable apartment here would cost somewhere between $1,300 and $3,800 a month. And that's where the controversy ignites. Activists are not thrilled. They argue that 25% affordable housing is not enough. They've been pushing to make it 100% affordable housing, with a portion reserved for 9/11 survivors and their families. Now, on the surface, that seems reasonable, but here's the kicker. Making this building 100% affordable housing would cost the government a whopping $500 million. That's taxpayer money going into it. The argument is, why put all that cash into one building when it could be used to construct 3,600 units across the city? See, the economic conditions for affordable housing in Manhattan aren't ideal. Land and construction costs are sky high. Building affordable housing just isn't appealing to developers. The profit margins are thin. They'd rather build luxury property that's in high demand. So, for affordable housing to work, the government needs to step in and subsidize its construction, essentially paying developers to build it. The negotiations were a roller coaster ride. Activists were unrelenting, and after a few years of back and forth, Governor Kathy Hochul reached a new deal in 2023. Now, the number of affordable units is set to increase from 330 to 400. 80 of these will be reserved for 9/11 survivors and their families. But here's the clincher, the change will cost the state around $60 million in funding, with an extra $5 million from local authorities. It's been over 2 decades since 9/11, and it's about time we see 5 World Trade Center go up. With the recent deal, construction is expected to start in 2024. This is a significant step, and it might just be the catalyst needed for the rest of the World Trade Center site to follow suit. So, what's the bottom line here? The story of 5 World Trade Center is not just about constructing another building, it's about shaping the city's future. It's about balancing the needs of the community with the practicalities of construction and, of course, the not-so-simple question of who gets to call it home. But you know, this isn't the end of our journey into the world of controversy, luxury, and excess. From skyscrapers to private islands, there's a lot more ground to cover. If you're into the billionaire mindset and want to explore the extravagant wonders that the world has to offer, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. Oh, and by the way, we've got something big for you, a massive update on NEOM, the futuristic city rising in Saudi Arabia. It's like something out of a sci-fi movie. You don't want to miss it. Click here and watch now and keep dreaming big. And remember, whether it's skyscrapers, luxury cars, or extravagant islands, we're here to explore it all. That's the billionaire mindset, and we're here to share it with you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode.